Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is a quick update video for the month of September as we roll on into October and the crazy gaming period of, the hardcore gaming season, which is probably the best way to describe it. I still have a pretty ailed throat and a weak voice, but I'm going to try my best to share this just to give people something to look forward to, because my channel right now has been full of non-commentated footage of certain games and certain things, and I need to put a little voice forward to tell people what is coming, what to expect, and there will be content back the way it was, but I have to convalesce because my throat is still kind of crappy, but we will persevere. So the first thing I want to do is I want to outline a couple of things that have changed. So Shadow of Mordor is a game being developed by Monolith that was meant to come out very soon, but it's been delayed on last gen consoles. So if you own a PS4 or an Xbox One, you're going to get it just fine. But unfortunately I don't own those consoles, so my walkthrough for that game is going to be a month late, and this affects me massively because, believe it or not, there is a very brief window on YouTube of importance when people are looking for things, and after that window is gone, the only results they will get are the people who get more likes than, the most of us get views. So it can be very difficult to be found, and it kind of kills all the opportunity that the guide or the walkthrough would have to reach a broader audience, and it's incredibly frustrating, but there's nothing I can do about it. It's just is what it is. So that has changed. Additionally, the Dark Souls 2 DLC has been moved from the 24th to the 30th of the month. And you might be wondering, how does this affect you? Well, if you're on PlayStation 3, it's also moved to the 1st of October, so you're getting it a day late, which I don't understand because the content seems fine. Maybe they're moving out of the way of another release that I'm not quite aware of. Maybe something turned up at the last moment that they have to change. It's a little disconcerting, and I was really looking forward to hopefully having my voice, fully and strong in 2 days worth of time of relaxing and covering that game, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit longer. So if you don't see that, that's why. If you didn't know, I know it sucks, but what can we do? Right, projects wise on the channel right now, we have the Wonderful 101 happening. That is going to continue happening, guys. I have a ton of footage for it that I need to commentate. Obviously voice problems are stopping that, and that will be coming your way really quickly. I do have a project that I'm recording, but I'm not going to really say what it is just yet because I don't know if I'll end up scrapping it, because it's one of those projects where it's kind of fiddly, and fiddly projects can sometimes be the worst. It's nothing to do with difficulty, it's nothing to do with the workflow, it's just the fiddly nature of them. So you might see it, you might not, but you're not going to miss it if you don't, because you don't know what it was. I am covering, of course, Bayonetta 2, I am covering the Legend of Korra game, and I probably will be doing something with Bayonetta 1 in the new Wii U package, if the frame rate's really good with all the bonuses. I'm going to be bringing back the credit feeding series, and this time I'm going to allow it to feature other games as well. That way it will be a little bit more relevant on the channel rather than just the obscure Japanese shooters that I was playing. I'm doing this in motivation to kind of fuse it with fighting games, because right now I'm kind of interested in getting into fighting games, and if anybody was familiar with my journey into Injustice, which unfortunately came to an end thanks to my connection, and I couldn't really go online and have some fun and practice the fundamentals and try and get better, I kind of dropped it for a while, a little bit put down, but we got Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition free with Games with Gold, or whatever it's called, and I've been trying to do some of the basics and just pick up the timings and the links and things and try and find a character that I like, and I'm probably going to share some of that with you through the credit feeding moniker, and I think that could be quite fun. I do appreciate it's not the most relevant or recent version of that game, so if I really wanted to compete and all that kind of good stuff, that is where I would be, but I'm just not at that level, folks, and I'm the type of player that I would rather get good before I throw myself into the shark pit, because that's just how I've always been, You don't learn overnight, you have to practice, and I like to do my practice before I get my ass bummed. So that's something you're going to be seeing. I have a ton of projects to do balls deeps for, which I'm just waiting to record when my voice is back. To name a few, I went and bought a bunch of £2 games from a local game store. I got Turning Point, which is apparently a horrendous first-person shooter, which should be funny. I got like Frontlines Fuel of War or some shit like that. £2, looks trashy, probably is trashy, will make a fantastic video if said thing is as trashy as it seems. And then I bought Lips, which doesn't actually work unless you have the official microphone, and I don't. I have the Guitar Hero one, so as you can imagine, I lost my £2 there, but I think I'll probably end up picking up one of those mics so I can mess around with that game, because it just looks fucking dumb. And the cool thing about it is you can import your own music, and if your own music and singing to it, or however it calibrates it, works towards the achievements or the actual gameplay of the game, I could have a lot of fun with that. Because when I do have a voice, I do quite enjoy singing, so that could be really fun. Not too sure if I'll make a balls deep at that one, because just because I enjoy singing doesn't mean anybody enjoys listening to me sing. There's a big, vast distinction there that no one on fucking America's Got Talent, X Factor's Got Talent, fucking Talent's Got Talent understands. And unfortunately they're deluded by the parents into thinking they can sing when really they should be sweeping floors with a fucking face. But that's something that's coming forward. I have Tales of Xillia that you're going to be seeing a Balls Deep 2. I have the new One Piece game on the PS3, you're going to be seeing Balls Deep 2, and potentially some boss videos when I get to a boss that I can fight on my own, or I think there's a Coliseum where you can fight the bosses again, and maybe I can do them on my own as like Luffy and stuff, so that could be quite fun to watch. On my rental list right now, I'm going to tell you a couple of the titles that I'm waiting on to come my way when I send the ones I have back, just to give you an example of what you might be seeing and what projects might be turning up. I have Tales of Xillia 2, because I thought it looked really interesting, but I have to play the first one, and I don't know if I'll beat the first one, guys, because the combat and the mechanics of these games is really great. It's deep, it's fun, it's rewarding, but the storyline and just the tedium that they have you doing is unbelievably banal. It's kind of hilarious just how nothing happens in these games, and I've only played 3 Tales games, and the other 2 had this at times as well. They just seem to have horrendous pacing issues with the story, and RPGs live and die by their story unless the mechanics are so good, and unfortunately this game has you doing a lot of the bullshit where you don't use the mechanics. So it's a game that I think could be 20 hours long, but it's 40 hours because they push it pedantically into these Emmerdale-esque fucking storylines. But on my rentals list, I also have Final Fantasy X Remastered and X-2. When I do get that, if I ever buy it or if it comes through my rental service, there will be a live Let's Play of that game, because I said I'd do it, and a lot of people enjoyed my Final Fantasy VIII journey. I have No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise for the PlayStation 3. Apparently this is a long wait, so I could be waiting a while for this. I've never played a No More Heroes, but everybody tells me they're great games, so I thought I'd play the one where you don't have to waggle the fucking stick. Seems like a good choice. Then there's Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell trilogy in the High Definition Collection. When I get this through, I will be doing hardest difficulty walkthroughs for each of the games. I'll probably try and do like no alerts, no kills or something, but I played these when they first came out, and these games were hard, guys. Like on normal, these games shit on me, so either I'm going to have to get good, or maybe I was just horrendous when I first played them. We will see, but I look forward to those a lot. Then I have Deception 4 Blood Ties. This is probably a balls deep, and if I like it, maybe a series of some kinds, because it's the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. You essentially play a big-breasted woman who is in charge of laying down traps to kill people coming into her castle, and you have to kind of combine traps together in some kind of perverted mousetrap-esque like board game, and defend, like tower defense with traps or something. It looks really strange, so that could be something fun watching. And then we have a couple of Nintendo ones, Pikmin 3, Super Mario 3D World. Type of stuff I'll probably do a balls deep to, because Nintendo flags this shit ferociously, so there's no point doing much else, because you know it's just wasted time, unfortunately. But that's a little inclination into the games and some of the titles. So the next part is going to be just a thank you to some people. So for the people who don't have any interest when it comes to Patreon or money or the business side of YouTube, then this is the part where you click off, because this next stuff will probably make you a little bit irate or annoy you. But I have to talk about it because it's very important to me, and I think it's important to make it known that there are certain people who are, you know, doing what they can to help the channel, and I think that's absolutely amazing. So I have 3 more Patreons added to my Patreon list, and because Patreon has a pretty piss poor UI, it's really difficult to see who the new people are and who the old people are, so I'm probably going to set up my email in such a way that I can just check that to get names, so that I can thank these people by name and not have to sift through the bullshit. But right now I don't have that information, so I'm incredibly sorry to those 3 individuals, but I'm so grateful for your support, folks. Thank you for helping build this empire, and it's just, you know, words don't really do it justice, and it just seems like empty platitudes when you continue to say thank you, but genuinely, you know, you are funding a dream, and that is a fucking beautiful thing. But what I do have in front of me is the new PayPal system, and the cool thing about this, aside from the fact it looks like something designed by a toddler, is it gives me quite a long breakdown of people who have donated to the channel, and I get the names and I get the details and stuff, so I can steal their identity and do the whole fucking Mr. Talented Ripley guy. But I'm not going to do that because I'm a nice person. So instead, I'm going to go through this list of people that have put some money towards the channel and just thank them, because I do actually have their names. You know, Patreon, learn a fucking lesson. Or Chris, learn a lesson about Patreon. Either way, it's one of those. So the first one I have on here is from a name that I'll probably murder, but it looks like Kale or Kaye, something like that. It's Kalle. The person knows who they are. Thank you very much for your funding. It's absolutely baffling and beautiful, and I owe this person a drink in person. So the next one is a guy called Remy. I'm not going to do full surnames and stuff because I don't know if these people want it out on the internet. I know I wouldn't, which is why I've intentionally never told you my surname. Mainly not because I'm afraid or anything like that. It's just, you know, some certain stuff is sacred. So this is Remy. Thank you very much, Remy, dude. If it's a man or a woman, I'm not too sure. It could be, you know, like Lady Remy or something. I'm not sure. But thank you very much. It means a shit ton, and that's a good thing, even though I use shit in it. The next one's from a dude called Brett. You know who you are, dude. Thank you very much for doing everything that you've done. And the next one is an old staple that turns up far too frequently because he's kind of insane but amazing in the best possible way. A person by the name of Simon, who his internet moniker is Hobo Jesus. You'll see him everywhere. You'll also see the wrath that everybody gives anybody who gives him shit, because he's essentially like the fucking founder of the empire. He is the emperor to this establishment. And then we have a guy called Victor. So thank you very much, Victor, for giving me your hard-earned money while I just make insanity and capture it on film and audio. And then we have the final one from a guy called Chris. Shares the same title as myself. Thank you very much, Chris. It means more than most people will know. But my voice is hurting now, and I've only been talking for like 10 minutes, and I have water, and it's still hurting, so it's probably time I sign off, and just try and instill in you that I will get better, guys. You know, it's not like I'm going to have throat death forever. I'm not going to be like those smokers who have that hole in their neck. Nothing as severe as that. And when my voice is back to being strong, every video will be plagued with it. If you hate it, you're going to love it. And a lot of content is coming. We're approaching Evil Within, Shadow of Mordor, ton of great games. You know, the potential of getting a next-gen console for things like Bloodborne, things like Lord of Shadow. There is a lot of content coming. The final thing I need to mention before I sign off, even though my throat is shitty, so I'll just take a quick cheeky swig. At the end of October, there is a charity marathon. It is a marathon of gaming for charitable reasons. I don't even think charitable is a word that will on it. And Lummy, if you don't know, is one of my friends. I went to university with him. He's a very talented Halo player, if you've ever seen him on there. He sent me a message basically saying that there's this gamer marathon, and, you know, are we interested in taking part? And to be completely honest, guys, I'm not much of a charity person, because I'm far too pessimistic and I know too much about charities to follow it too fervently or believe in it much. But I am not without exception, and I do think stuff like this is a really good idea, even if it's just to spread awareness. You might be wondering why I didn't do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Well, it's pretty simple. I knew what Lou Gehrig's disease was before that fucking Ice Bucket Challenge, because I watched House, and every bastard had it. And it's a terrible thing, and it's good to spread awareness, but I just think wasting water that other people would die to drink is kind of a stupid way to celebrate it. But that's just me, and I've got mad props to Matt Damon, because he used the water from his toilet, if you didn't know. And he said something incredibly poignant and just really, really spot on. And he said, if you find this as disgusting as my wife do, just realise that there are people in this world right now that don't have water 1/10 as clean as what's in your toilet, and that will stop you from wasting water, hopefully. But anyhow, charity gaming event. So how this is going to work is, we don't really know where we're going to do it, but it's going to be a 24-hour stream. I don't have the biggest streaming presence on Twitch, which is disappointing, but I understand it. It's completely different to YouTube. I can't expect, you know, nearly 1,000 people to turn up every time I turn it on, and I do also have a low bandwidth, so my quality is as bad as it gets. The cool thing here is, we'll be doing this either in Lummy's house or in Aiden's house, two of the Time Cop crew, and each of them have vastly superior internet to me because they're closer to a hub, and they're just on a better package, and they actually have wiring that's not made of like fucking Mordor metal. And what we're going to do is, it's going to all get set up. We're going to stream via my account. All of us will be in the room doing it. I think Aiden wants it to be like multiple systems, but I'd prefer it just one system so that we can all like shit talk and focus on maybe trying to be a little bit more entertaining than we normally would if we were all playing. And I don't mean, you know, hamming it up and getting ridiculously hype like some streams do. I just mean being ourselves, because I think the funniest you can be and the most entertaining you can be is by being yourself, because people immediately tell if you're forcing it or you're doing something that's not yourself. So I'll keep you informed on exactly what ends up happening with that stuff, but it's something to look forward to. It could be really interesting, and there may be a webcam involved in it, so yeah, something to think about. But as always, folks, if you're old or new to the channel, thank you very much for supporting me. Thank you for subscribing if you have. If you watch, that's all I ask, and you know, if you're civil, that's the icing on the cake. But thank you very much. Hopefully I'll be speaking to you very soon with an improved throat. No more, you know, hardcore blowjob sessions for me. And as always, you take care now.